Well, that's kind of the point. It's like they expect that you either spend the money thinking that you're going to be able to find 5 friends to sign up underneath you. It's not exactly a pyramid type of scheme because
the premise is the same though.
Roughly, because even if you had 100 friends and they say, oh, you only need 5 to sign up, they make it sound like it's so easy. But let's say you find 5 of those friends and they say, well, I don't want this, or I already signed up for another offer, and now there's 1,000,001 of these freebie offers, and they end up making money on any kind of revenue that they get from you, and you never get an iPod or an iBook or whatever because you never sign up 5 friends.
Out, though?
Well, it depends.
What's the rate that they actually have to send those things?
They wouldn't do it unless it was in their favor.
Yeah, well,
if they were making,
it's like a casino.
Well, I'll put it this way: I won like 5 Xbox 360s 2 years ago because they did the same thing. They said if you get 30 people to sign up for this free account, you'll for every 30 people you bring in, we'll give you 1 Xbox 360. Well, it was a local company, and I said, well, sure, that's worth a shot. So I sent it out. I'm like, these guys are a local company. I wanted to interview them anyway. Text Pay Me, I think, was the name of the service. And I just started signing up people left and right. I mean, it was all legit. So I ended up stacking like 150 people sign up. And they're like, oh, my God, we don't even have 5 Xbox 360s. But then, no. So how the interview went down is Jake and I were still working on the show. We were just doing the live audio broadcast at that point. Yeah. They delivered the Xbox 360. They came like, it was great. It was classic. They're like, we weren't expecting anybody because... what's the curve? You've got to get 30 people to sign up for something.
That's quite a bit.
It's a lot
for anyone to know 30 people to sign up.
But it was the path. It was a path of easier, I guess, uptake because there's no cost in signing up. And typically with these freebie programs, get a free iPod if you sign up 6 people. People have to buy something in order to buy into it, and the chances are just extremely
low. Sign up for a credit card and be accepted.
Exactly. You have to hit those benchmarks, right? So if any of those loopholes fail, and likely they will, if not for you, then for one of your friends in your downline, then not only have you wasted your time, money, energy, but you're making their business stronger, and that's their whole model is predicated on that.
Yeah, of course.
Adam and I, my brother here is on the couch as I'm sitting in the chair in his home here in Des Moines, Iowa, as I'm visiting this week. We're talking about an email that I received a couple days ago from Tom, and he says, sometimes when I surf the web, I come across freebie sites and stuff. I also see guys on YouTube making videos of them. Is this freebie thing true, or is it some dirty credit card stealing trick? Personally, I don't and never will trust those sites, but is it worth trying? And this is what it's all about. Why would a website give something away like a MacBook for like $20 if it costs more than that? It's something I want to know. I've wanted to know about it for a very long time, and I have no doubt that there's something behind all this. And it's a good question, and I've tiptoed very cautiously around these kinds of schemes because you always talk to a friend and said, hey, I got an iPod or I got this, because he or she was lucky enough to be able to make it through that procedure. But it's pretty much as Adam was explaining and I was explaining back. It's really, the odds are not in your favor that you're ever going to get something that they're saying is free. And I don't care how many people say, no, but it's true, I got one. Number one, unless you can verify that, you're going by their word. And I hate to say it, but just because they're on the internet doesn't mean you can trust them. And just because they're on YouTube doesn't mean you should trust them. Because anybody who's got a webcam can record videos and upload them to YouTube. I am obviously a living example of that. So, if you run across a freebie website like that, read the fine print before you make any decisions whatsoever. Assume, though, that none of your friends are going to care, nor are they going to want to jump through the same amount of flaming hoops that you did, and that most people will indefinitely fail in getting that free product that they're allegedly hawking. There's no way you're going to spend $20 and just walk away with something worth far more of that. If it smells like a fish and it looks like a fish and it tastes like a fish, it's a fish. And trust me, you don't want to eat fish if it smells like a fish. That's a bad fish. You want to eat a fish when it doesn't smell like a fish. That's a good fish. So, Tom, stay away. And if you happen to be watching this video and you run one of these freebie websites, I don't want to hear it, because I've seen so many people get burnt. In fact, one of the things that upset me, Ponzi signed up, my wife, Ponzi scheme, that's kind of odd. she signed up for something like this with the intention that she was going to get an iPod. She said, "Oh, I just bought a magazine. I was going to buy it anyway, and I figured I'd go into that." I'm like, "Oh, well, first of all, I don't think we need any more magazines. Second of all, she bought that magazine with the hope that she was going to get something more, this iPod, which at that point she didn't have." It just burned me. It really upset me because there are more people on the internet that don't know what's going on. So I'm very grateful with people like Tom who ask these kinds of questions rather than jumping in and then asking. Tom, if you haven't done anything, my recommendation is stay away. Save your money to get whatever it is that you want to get. If you don't have that much money, keep saving your pennies. And ultimately, that'll be your dream. That'll be your goal. Go for it that way. It'll be a lot less hectic and a lot less worrisome, and you won't be throwing money away. All right, that's about all I have to say about that. I'm sure you guys have got some feedback on this, considering a lot of people who are on YouTube, are involved in a lot of these, in my opinion, scams. Feel free to pass along any feedback or information. Maybe you've got a story, whether it turned out good or bad. My story, as I prefaced, it turned out quite well. It worked very, very well because, well, I knew who I was dealing with. It wasn't some nameless, faceless website. So my email address again, chris@perillo.com, and you can typically catch me talking about something semi-random during the day if I'm back home and not on the road as I am right now. Well, I'm not literally on the road. I'm in a chair. Used to be my chair. Now it's Adam's chair. He inherited it years ago when I got my chair that everybody asks about, the thing that looks like E.T., looks like some medieval torture device. It's a good chair, though. What is chair in the chat room will tell you what that chair is, not this one. This is the old chair. It's a good chair. It's a very good chair. Just a different kind of chair. So you can see me sitting in the other chair 24 hours a day, typically, sometimes. You can depend on it. 7 days a week at live.perillo.com. We'll see you later.